aplikasi pengolah grafis 3 dimensi. Jadi kalau minggu kemarin kita ada di bagian bawah di sini, konsep-konsep mendasar. Sekarang kita naik ke sini, penggunaan aplikasi pengolah grafis 3 dimensi. Bahasannya adalah penggunaan aplikasi pengolah grafis 3 dimensi. Sub pokok bahasan adalah pengenalan, kemudian model objek 3 dimensi, transformasi, animasi, dan rendering. Saya tidak memberikan materinya ada di sini karena sifatnya ini online tutorial. Jadi saya tunjukkan link-link ataupun halaman-halaman web yang terkait dengan topik ini. Dari isi rangkuman ada beragam aplikasi pengolah grafis 3 dimensi. Ini saya stop dulu sharingnya, saya hendak sharing yang lain. Saya ambil dari Wikipedia. Nama halamannya Comparison of 3D Computer Graphics Software. Jadi ada banyak tabel nanti sampai dengan di bawah. Yang di sini tabel untuk membandingkan elemen dari software yang available. Berdasarkan dari software raw software dasar. Tanpa memasukkan plugin. Nih, contohnya aplikasi-aplikasi yang terkait dengan komputer grafik 3 dimensi aplikasi. Nih, ada 3ds Max. Versi terakhir 2022, developernya adalah Autodesk, platformnya Microsoft Windows, digunakan untuk apa saja? Untuk modeling, untuk animasi baik video game dan movie, kemudian visual effect, visual effect simulasi, untuk lighting dan rendering. License-nya proprietary. Ada AC3D untuk modeling saja. Dia tidak sebanyak kemampuannya dari C3ds Max. Libre Design untuk CAD, Computer Aided Design. Ini contohnya adalah AutoCAD. Nih AutoCAD. Tapi AutoCAD sendiri dia bisa macam-macam, bisa untuk 2D CAD, 3D modeling, untuk rendering dasar dia bisa. Terus kemudian animasi yang sederhana. Blender ini yang free, dia bisa macam-macam di sini. Toon animation, lighting, modeling, node-based material creation, texturing, 3D texture painting, UV mapping, rendering, kemudian 3D rigging animation, sculpting, visual 3D effect, basic post production video editing. Jadi video editing pun dia bisa, tapi yang basic. Motion tracking, kemudian Python scripting, fluid simulation dan seterusnya. Setelah itu masih banyak, ada Cobalt, ada masing-masing dengan kemampuannya sendiri-sendiri. Yang proprietary lebih banyak, yang open itu cuman ini yang hijau di sini, Blender, terus kemudian FreeCAD, terus kemudian OpenSCAD, kemudian Salome. Nih, Maya di sini yang termasuk yang kemampuannya banyak Maya. Ada modeling, modeling, rigging, skinning, retargeting, animation, lightning, dan lain sebagainya. Semakin banyak isinya yang di kolom di sini, berarti kemampuannya semakin banyak juga. Terus ini ada juga yang license-nya BSD, Wings 3D. Terus di yang tabel berikutnya adalah software yang inaktif, yang tidak ada lagi di pasaran. Ininya sudah tidak dikembangkan. Ada di pasaran, bisa di-download, tapi sudah tidak dikembangkan lagi. Ini contohnya Bicycle, SketchUp, Make, dan lain sebagainya. Kemudian berdasarkan support terhadap sistem operasi, 3ds Max hanya di Windows, AC3D, Windows, macOS, Linux. Yang di Android ini Clara.io karena dia menggunakan Chrome iOS. Dia othernya pun Chrome iOS. Di Android dia juga bisa Clara.io. Terus SketchUp viewer only yang di Android. Dia punya SketchUp for web juga. Yang Blender dia bisa di Windows, macOS, Linux, Unix, BSD. iOS tidak bisa, Android tidak bisa. Terus berdasarkan feature. Ini dibagi menjadi modeling, 3D painting, animation, rendering, 3D tracking, compositing. Yang paling banyak di sini Blender. Kemudian yang nomor 2 ada Cinema 4D, ada Houdini, ada Lightwave. Lightwave enggak sih? Lightwave cuman 4. Ya, Soft Image 5. Berdasarkan I/O, input output filenya yang bisa dibuka ini banyak. Nanti masih berdasarkan macam-macam lagi banyak. Jadi intinya karena komputer grafik itu sudah puluhan tahun, tools yang sudah didevelop sama orang itu sangat banyak. Kategorinya pun juga banyak. Kemampuannya ini shader writing misalkan. Ini kemampuannya pun juga macam-macam. Lightning sendiri masih dibagi-bagi sendiri. Lightning itu kemampuannya macam-macam. Berbasis diberdasarkan path tracing rendering, macam-macam lagi. LOD, level of detail, macam-macam. Jadi dari sini dari daftar ini bisa kita lihat ragam dari aplikasi pengolah 3 dimensi itu banyak sekali. Ya maklum, karena sudah puluhan tahun sudah ada komputer grafik. Tuh, terus stop sharing, saya balik ke saya balik sharing yang pertemuan 2 PDF. Tadi, yang pertama ragam dari aplikasi pengolah grafis 3 dimensi. Kemudian konsep-konsep dasar dari aplikasi pengolah grafis 3 dimensi. Jadi konsep-konsep dasar yang digunakan oleh tadi yang software yang macam-macam itu tadi, itu sebenarnya dasarnya itu dari konsep-konsep dasar dari sistem grafis sendiri. Jadi ada beberapa hal yang semua software pengolah grafis tadi itu sharing sih karena sistemnya sama. Karena dari sistem komputer grafiknya sama, yaitu misalnya contohnya adalah objek modelnya secara 3 dimensi diletakkan dalam sistem koordinat 3 dimensi. Itu semuanya pasti begitu. Terus kemudian ada yang namanya kamera. Kamera itu sudut pandang dari titik mana kita melihat objeknya. Kemudian nanti ada pencahayaan namanya. Terus ada macam-macam. Nah, inilah yang saya hendak tekankan, yang saya hendak gunakan di demo 1. Demo 1-nya nanti adalah mahasiswa membuat animasi di software pengolah grafis yang isi animasinya adalah konsep-konsep dasarnya yang setiap software animasi pengolah grafis 3 dimensi itu pasti punya kemampuan tersebut. Oke, referensinya online tutorial. Sampai sini dulu, ada pertanyaan kah? Sampai sini dulu ada pertanyaan kah? Sampai sini ada pertanyaan kah?
Untuk demonya sendiri itu Pak pakai software bebas atau ditentukan?
Ya, sebentar lagi akan saya jelaskan tentang satu softwarenya. Nanti masalah demo sambil jalan akan saya terangkan. Oke, ada pertanyaan yang lain? Ada pertanyaan yang lain? Oke, terkait demo tunggu dulu ya. Saya belum ngomong demonya nanti sebentar lagi. Perkuliahan dulu. Pelan-pelan dulu, nanti sambil jalan saya akan terangkan demonya. Sampai dengan di sini dulu, sampai dengan ragam aplikasi tadi yang saya tunjukkan webpage-nya tadi. Nggak ada? Oke, saya lanjutkan. Berikutnya saya hendak ini stop presenting. Saya hendak men-share yang ini. Jadi aplikasi pengolah grafis yang saya kenalkan ke mahasiswa adalah Blender. Sebelumnya kalau saya mengajar kelas komputer grafik ini yang saya kenalkan adalah 3ds Max. Cuman sekarang sudah semakin sukar 3ds Max. Dulu saya pakainya 3ds Max versi 7. Kemudian video tutorialnya saya copy dari CD-ROM. Sekarang sudah perkembangan zaman, sudah orang-orang rata-rata orang belajar pakai YouTube. Terus kemudian 3ds Max-nya sendiri karena proprietary semakin susah cari 3ds Max yang yang bisa di-copy dengan mudah. Maaf. Maka saya putuskan untuk berpindah ke Blender. Sekali lagi karena Blender free, tinggal download, tidak butuh license, tidak butuh cari macam-macam, tinggal di-copy saja, download, install, selesai. Dan dia support macam-macam di Windows bisa, di iOS bisa, di Linux bisa, dan lain sebagainya bisa. Kecuali di Android di macOS bisa, yang iOS yang nggak bisa. Terus tutorialnya pun juga banyak. Terus kemampuannya dia juga sangat banyak Blender. Tadi yang saya tunjukkan, dia bisa modeling bisa, rendering bisa, animasi bisa, dan macam-macam. Nanti terkait dengan game, development game pun dia juga bisa. Video editing juga bisa. Nah, makanya saya pilih Blender. Kelemahan utama dari Blender di sini adalah karena dia memang kemampuannya banyak, hendak belajar itu agak susah. Hendak belajar. Ini aja yang tutorialnya yang saya acu di sini. Untuk dia dari titik awal sampai akhir itu ada 14 tutorial. Masing-masing tutorialnya bervariasi, ada yang 10 menit, ada yang 30 menit, ada 16 menit. Tapi intinya rata-rata di bawah 30 menitan. Paling kecil 10 menit, jadi antara 10 sampai 30 menit satu tutorial. Itu kalau ditonton semua ya berarti kira-kira 6 jam lah, kira-kira 6 jam, 5 jam, 6 jam, ya sekitar itu kira-kira. Itu kalau ditonton semua dari awal sampai akhir. Nah, saya mengacunya tutorialnya yang versi yang ini karena Blender Guru di sini itu cukup terkenal, cukup populer. Dia diacu oleh banyak pihak. Terus saya sendiri melihat cukup bagus tutorialnya, cukup basic. Oh ya, satu lagi, tidak perlu menonton semua, hanya beberapa hal saja yang diperlukan untuk membuat nanti demonya. Saya play dulu yang pertama.
If you're a web designer, here are 4 Wix Studio features you gotta know.
This is Blender, open source 3D software that can be used.
Ini suaranya yang terplay di sini bisakah didengar oleh mahasiswa?
Bisa, Bapak.
Oke.
Bisa, Bapak.
Saya play sampai dengan selesai ya. Silakan mahasiswa nonton ini dulu.
To make animations, visual effects, game assets, or practically anything 3D. And best of all, it's 100% free and it always will be. If you've never used it before but you want to learn it, well, then you're in the right place. This is a tutorial for complete beginners. I've been using Blender for 20 years, so I'm going to show you how to use all of its core features. And by the end, you'll finish with not only the confidence to start your own projects, but with your very own donut animation. And I know this looks complex, but I promise you it's achievable for a complete beginner. And I say that with confidence because many already have. This is actually the 4th version of this tutorial. I made the first donut tutorial back in 2016, and I've been remaking it every few years to keep up with Blender's development. In that time, millions of people, just like yourself, have gone from having never used 3D to successfully making their own donuts. One artist even snuck his into a little film called Everything Everywhere All at Once. Very clever. So if you're ready to take your first steps in 3D, hit the subscribe button and let's begin. First, go to blender.org/download or just click the link in the description. Then, obviously, you got to hit the big download button. Once downloaded on Windows, double-click it and then just go through the install steps. But if you're on a Mac, just drag it into the Applications folder. Then just find the Blender shortcut and open it. Then once it's open, just click anywhere off the splash screen to close it, and welcome to the wonderful world of 3D. First tip, do not get overwhelmed. If you go clicking around, you might find lots of buttons and some of them with very scary names, and it can all get very overwhelming very quickly. The thing you need to know is Blender can do a lot of things, which means it has a lot of tools, but you don't need to know every tool in order to do what you want to do. If you're familiar with the 80-20 rule, there's really only 20% of Blender's features that you end up using 80% of the time. And that's what I'm planning to teach you in this tutorial series. So stay with me and you should be fine. We'll start making the donut in the next video. In this one, we're just going to look at the interface and I'm going to show you some of the basic navigation. So for starters, this view, this window right here is your 3D viewport, and it's where you'll spend probably 90% of your time, because it is the 3D world. So you can see that we have three objects here. We've got a camera, we've got a cube, and we've got a lamp. And when we click on it, you can see it's selected because it has the yellow outline. So let's delete the default cube, of course, and replace it with something else. So we could do that by going up to the Add menu up here, or by remembering the hotkey, which is Shift A. So Shift A for Add. So usually the one you're looking for is underneath Mesh. So these are called your primitives, and it's what you use to start something when you're looking to make an object. Like if you're going to make a chair, you might start with a cylinder as the chair leg and then build out from there. But the one I'm sure you're all very curious, you want to click it, it's the monkey. So let's just click the monkey. Why does Blender have a monkey? Well, fun fact, every 3D software has its own little random complex object because it's useful to test things like shaders or complexities of scenes. So 3ds Max has the Utah teapot, Houdini has the toy, and I think pig's head. Blender has the monkey, and it's actually called the Suzanne monkey head, which you can see in the top left there, named after the orangutan from the film Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back. Random piece of trivia. So let's get a better look at it. And to that we need to orbit, which you can do by on your mouse there, your scroll wheel, that is called your middle mouse button. If you push that in and then drag around, that is now orbiting. Now, for my laptop users, you've just panicked because you realize you don't have a mouse. How are you going to orbit around? First of all, probably a good idea to get a mouse for 3D work. It will come in handy. But in a pinch, you can get by without it just by up here in the top right-hand corner, this little gray circle, anywhere in the gray section. If you just left-click, drag on that, that will do the exact same thing. Or if you want, you can go to Edit Preferences, and then underneath Input, there's Emulate 3-button mouse. And that means that if you hold down Alt and then left-click, drag, that will do the exact same thing. Also, whilst you are in user preferences, you might want to go to interface and you've got resolution scale. If you're on a 4K monitor, you might find that your menus and buttons are really small and you kind of have to like squint in to see it. So personally, I like to keep my 4K monitor around about 1.5, but since this is a tutorial, I'll make it nice and big so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so that's orbiting around with the middle mouse button. If we want to zoom in, we can do that just by scrolling in and out. We could also do it by going up to the magnifying glass tool there, and then just left click dragging and then moving the mouse back and forth. That does the same thing. Or you could hold down Control and then middle mouse button, and that will do a smooth zoom as well. Okay, so one thing you might notice looking at this is that it's not very pretty, right? It's just kind of got this flat, bland, gray lighting over everything. And that's because this state right now is called viewport shading. And it's kind of a lightweight, optimized way to view the scene just as you're building it. But if you want to create a final pretty image, that's called rendering. And you can actually switch into rendered mode by going up here into the top right-hand corner. You can see we're currently in the viewport shading mode. If we go 2 across, you should see rendered view mode. So if we click that, your computer might stall for a quick second whilst it loads it in, but you can see it's now different. We have directional light. We have shadow cast across the monkey. So it's now currently being lit by this lamp up here. So if I wanted to, zoom in on that lamp there and just kind of like move it around, you can see it's kind of hard to focus on. Like it's always exactly not in the right view. And that's because we are centered on our monkey right now. We need to change the focus. We need to pan to something else. So we could do that one of 2 ways. One, if you're on a laptop, you could use the little move tool there. That will do that. Or everyone else, Shift middle mouse click, drag, that will do the same thing. So middle mouse is for orbiting, shift middle mouse is for pan to change your view to something else. Okay, so I want to move my light because it's too moody. I want to be able to see the monkey's face there. So to move an object, you could do it one of two ways. One, you could go over to the left-hand corner here and you've got the move tool. When you click that, you can see that the selected object, the lamp, has this gizmo, it's called, with these axes on it. And if I just clicked and dragged on any of those arrows there, you can see I can move it along any of those axes. I could also just click on that white circle there, and that will just freehand drag it depending on my view. But it's kind of tedious. Every time you want to move something, you have to like go to that tool and then find the arrows and yada yada. So actually most people in Blender prefer to use the hotkeys. So we just keep it in the default selection state here, and instead remember the hotkey, which is G for grab. Now I've just tapped the key and you'll notice as I move my cursor that it's now attached to my cursor. My cursor isn't even actually close to it. In fact, my cursor could be on the other side of the screen and I could tap G and it will move it. And at first this is kind of awkward. You're like, why is it working this way? But once you get used to it, you realize it's actually handy because you don't have to spend all this time like navigating your cursor to something just so that you can move it. Your cursor could be over here and then just tap it and you're moving it. So whilst you're in this move state, if you want to cancel a movement, you could do it one of two ways. You could just hit escape, or you could right click. Then if you want to confirm a movement, like say I want to move my lamp here and I like the movement, I could just do a single left click. So again, if I want to cancel something, just right click. If I want to confirm the movement, left click. But let's say I wanted to move it along an axis, like, I like these arrows here and I want to be able to move it on just a specific axis. Well, I can do that whilst I'm in that grab state as well. So after I have hit the G key to grab it, I can then tap the letter of the axis that I want to move it on. So if you don't know, in the real world and in the 3D software, there are 3 axes because there's 3 dimensions. There's the X axis, which I can move it by hitting the X key, the Y axis to move it back and forth along the Y axis with the Y key, or the Z axis to move it up and down on the Z axis. So you can remember those letters, the X, Y, and Z, or the method that I actually prefer to use is whilst you're in that G state, if you just hold down the middle mouse button and then pull out, you can see you get this like gray line that pulls out from the center. And then if you just drag out and move around, it will snap it to the nearest axes, which again is maybe an odd way to work, but it's actually really handy because it means you don't have to think of the letter and locate it on your keyboard. I can just tap G to move it and then middle mouse drag out and then just find that exact axis that I'm looking for. And so it's very fast to just quickly move the lamp exactly where I want it. By the way, if you're finding it hard to remember all of the keyboard shortcuts that I've mentioned, I've actually put together a PDF, a cheat sheet of Blender's most common hotkeys, and you can download that by clicking the link in the description, so you could print it out or you could just have it on a separate monitor while you work. Also, if you are from another 3D software package, you might notice that Blender's hotkeys are different than what you are used to. So if you actually go to Preferences, just for those people that are from other softwares, if you change the key map to industry compatible, you'll find that these shortcuts are probably more in line with what you remember from other software. I'll also put a link to a cheat sheet that is just for the industry compatible key maps that somebody else put together. I've got nothing to do with it, but I'll put that link there so you can check it out as well. For the rest of this tutorial series, I'm going to use Blender's hotkeys. Just keep that in mind. Now let's say as I am moving around here, I'm like, oh, this looks really good. I've got some nice Rembrandt lighting across the monkey's face. I want to take a photo. I want to take a nice pretty image of this and post it on socials for clout, right? Well, I could take a screenshot of it, but that would be silly because it's got all these lines all over. It's all noisy, right? We don't like it. The way you take a photo, a pretty image in Blender, is to do a render. So you could do that one of two ways, by going up to render and hitting render image, or remembering the hotkey, which says next to it F12.
This game, you're not ready for it.
So when you do that, a little window will pop up. It will use your CPU or GPU, depending on which renderer you've got active, and it will render out a pretty image. And from here, you could go image and then save as, and that'll save it as a PNG or whatever, wherever you want to save it. But you might notice looking at this that this is actually a different view than what we have here, right? So here I've got a nice view of the monkey's face, but up there is a different view. And the reason for that is when you do a render, it's not rendering from the view that you're looking at currently. It's always going to render from the point of view of the camera. So this is our camera over here and it's looking from this angle. And we can actually look through the camera by just clicking the little camera icon there, or by remembering the hotkey, which is number pad 0. So how do we move the camera? Well, Blender's a little awkward, maybe a little different to other software packages, but you're supposed to like hit G to move it and then like middle mouse to zoom in and out. And then if you want to like move it along an axis, I guess G and then X. You could do that, but actually what a lot of users prefer, especially those from other software packages, is if you've got your camera selected, which by the way, I haven't mentioned this, but up here, this is your outliner. It's kind of an inventory of every item that you've got in your scene. Okay, so with the camera there selected, if I hit N, N is to bring up the properties, N for properties for whatever reason, and then go to view. There's a little box there that just says lock to camera to view. So now with that active, if I just use the same keyboard shortcuts as before, middle mouse button to orbit around, shift middle mouse to drag it, you can see that the camera is moving with it. So essentially the view, I can set it up exactly as I want, then hit N again, and then I can disable that. And then now as I pull out, you can see that the camera will stay exactly where it was, and I could do a lovely, pretty render. But this is too simple. If we post this on the internet, people are bound to make fun of us. Imagine that. Well, we could give it some color, right? So with our monkey head selected, we can go over to here to the properties. So this properties section is where you might spend the other, I don't know, another 5 to 8%, I don't know, getting too exact there. You might spend another 5% of your time in this section, but it's where all of the properties for things are in Blender. So for example, you've got like the render properties, like the size of the image that you're saving something as is defined there. And some of these properties will stay here no matter what is selected, but others are selection dependent. So you can see actually, if I click the camera there, you can see I get a little camera tab at the bottom there. But if I select my monkey, you'll see the camera tab disappears, but instead I have some other ones that appear. So one that we might want to change is underneath material, and this will enable us to add a material, change the color to something else, essentially. So underneath here where it's got new, I'm just gonna hit new. And then you've got a bunch of options, very confusing. Ooh, IOR, subsurface. Again, don't worry about it. We'll get to all of that later on. The one that defines the color is the base color. So if I do a single left click on that white box there, I can then change this color to whatever I want. I could make it an odd, creepy, skin-toned monkey head, right? Like that. And do a render. Okay, so hey, all right, it's better, but still it's too simple. I think people will think we haven't put enough effort into this masterpiece. So let's add another object. Let's give the monkey a hat. So if we want to add another object, how do we do it? Well, we could go to the add menu, like I mentioned before, or the hotkey Shift A. So what sort of hat do we want to add? We could do a boxy hat. Let's do a party hat with a cone. So once we've added that object, you can see it's just plopped it straight in the center, intersecting our monkey. So we need to move it. We can move it and we could grab it with the G key. So it's now moving it just on our cursor there. I don't want to move it just freehand though, because I like the position, but I just want to move it up. So I'm going to hit Z to move it along the Z axis. Right, I like it there. So once I like the placement, I'm just going to do a single left click. Okay, great. But too big. See, we need to learn another tool, which is scale. So we could go to the scale tool there, and then we get this familiar little axes there. But again, most people prefer to remember the hotkey, which for scale is just S. So S to scale. So resizing that, okay, that's pretty good. Let's move it down again, so G and Z. Okay, all right, but yeah, let's say we want to make it a little taller. Okay, so we could scale it along just the Z axis. So S and then Z, whoops, S, Z, there we go. And it's now making it a tall party hat. Scale it down, there we go. Ha, look at that. Be a very bland party if it's gray though, so let's give it another material. an exciting color, a vibrant aqua color. Why not? Give that a render by hitting F12. Okay, camera is in the wrong position, so let's go to camera view mode with number pad 0. I'm going to select my camera, and rather than dabbling with that little thing I had before, I'm going to hit G and then middle mouse, just tap it once. As I said, it's a little awkward, Blender's the way it handles with the camera, but anyway, just move that out, and then I gotta rotate it. All right, so I'm gonna rotate. So with the camera selected, tap R, then middle mouse, and it's now kind of like freehand rotating around. So I'll just move it up slightly. There we go. Okay, this is just a fool around session, so don't worry if you're making mistakes. We'll get to actual practical building stuff in the next part. I'm just trying to find ways to throw in these like fundamental tools. Rotate, right? The monkey's head is just, he needs to look dead on at the camera, and currently he's off. What an excuse to use the rotate tool. So you could enable the rotate tool, right? The familiar axes there. You could click and rotate it around like that. Again, most people prefer to remember the hotkey, which is R to rotate, right? So it's now just freehand rotating on my cursor. Remember the axes, as I mentioned before, can be used for any mode. So the X axis will rotate it back and forth. The Y axis, tilt it, or Z, there we go, to turn it towards the camera. Just a little bit, right? And there you go, F12. And we've done it. Let's save it. Let's upload it to ArtStation, and then just wait for the recruiters, essentially. All right, let's start a new scene so that we can get ready for part 2, where we're going to actually start building our donut and learning some of the more core features of Blender. So click here and I will see you in part 2.
Oke, ini tadi part 1. Ini tadi part 1 dari tutorial.
Excitement.
Saya back dulu.
This is Blender, open source 3D software that can be used to make
Yes.
animations, visual effects, game assets, or
Tutup. Oke. Nah, ini listnya. Ini listnya dari partnya dia. Barusan saya posting di Google Classroom. Saya stop sharing dulu. Saya share yang satunya. Saya share Google Classroom-nya. Oke. Di sini stream was updated. Saya klik show. Saya barusan posting di sini materi untuk demo 1, ada video contohnya di sini. Terus ini link tutorial Blender Guru yang barusan saya tunjukkan. Yang perlu mahasiswa tonton itu yang ini. 1, 2, 5, 8, 12, 13, dan 14. Pak, enggak boleh tak Pak kalau saya tonton semuanya? Boleh. Kalau mau ditonton 1 sampai 14 boleh. Cuman yang berkaitan erat dengan tugasnya itu yang ini. Yang 1, 2, 5, 8, 12, 13, dan 14. Terus kemudian satu lagi saya kasih link tutorial untuk translasi dan rotasi ini yang tidak dibahas cukup panjang di Blender Guru, tapi cukup penting di demo. Ini saya kasih link tambahan yang di sini. Oke. Nah, terkait pertanyaannya yang tadi dulu. Pertanyaannya yang tadi, Pak, softwarenya pakai apa? Yang saya terangkan di sini, yang saya tunjukkan contohnya di sini adalah pakai Blender. Tapi kalau mahasiswa mau pakai yang lain, boleh. Jadi misalkan ya, ada mahasiswa bilang, Pak, saya sudah pernah belajar 3ds Max, Pak. Saya sudah cukup ahli di situ. Saya merasa nyaman kerja pakai 3ds Max. Boleh enggak, Pak, saya pakai 3ds Max? Boleh. Boleh. Atau yang lain, misalkan mahasiswa yang lain, Pak, saya sudah pernah belajar Maya 3D. Itu powerful, Pak. Saya sudah nyaman dengan Maya 3D. Boleh enggak, Pak, saya pakai Maya 3D? Boleh. Boleh. Jadi intinya tidak harus pakai Blender. Tapi silahkan. Tapi yang saya jelaskan di kelas ini adalah Blender. Yang saya ambil contohnya adalah Blender. Karena menurut saya, kalau pemula belum kenal apa-apa dengan software 3D, mendingan pakai yang gratis, yang tutorialnya banyak, yang fungsionalitas yang didukung juga banyak. Oke, itu terkait penggunaan software. Ada pertanyaan dulu sampai sini? Terkait tutorialnya juga saya kasih linknya di situ. Kalau mau cari tutorial yang lain silahkan. Pak, saya kesulitan Pak kalau ngikuti tutorial dalam bahasa Inggris. Setahu saya di YouTube-nya tadi itu ada fasilitas transcribing yang untuk bahasa Indonesia harusnya. Setahu saya bisa dicari. Kalau tidak ada silahkan cari yang tutorial versi bahasa Indonesia sendiri. Oke, ada pertanyaan sampai sini? Ada pertanyaan sampai sini? Terus saya lanjutkan terkait demonya. Ya, silakan. Ada pertanyaan? Tidak ada? Terkait demonya. Demonya akan dilakukan 2 minggu dari sekarang. Jadi minggu depan masih belum demo. 2 minggu lagi baru demo. Demo dilakukan dalam kelompok. Satu kelompok ada 4 orang. Ini kalau saya lihat kelas ini ada 39 orang. Jadi nanti ada satu kelompok yang isinya 3 orang. Intinya kerja bareng. Nanti ngerjakan satu saja demonya. Bikin animasi video animasi 3 dimensi dalam format video. Nanti di play videonya. Terus contoh yang saya berikan ada di situ. Ada di sini di demo 1A AVI di sini. Saya share. Ini di sini. Kalau saya ini ada tulisan di bawah. Kalau saya play, bentar, saya ulang. Berarti kan ada 3 set angka. Yang kiri masuk dari kiri, yang tengah masuk dari atas, yang kanan masuk dari kanan. Terus ada tulisan di bawah. Terus dia berputar, ini berputar sumbu X, ini berputar sumbu Y, ini berputar sumbu Z. Satu putaran terus mundur. Setelah mundur dia bergerak ke kanan sebesar ini, angka 7. Bergerak ke atas sebesar angka 4. Bergerak ke depan sebesar angka 7 lagi. Sudah. Balik ke sini. Jadi modelnya seperti itu. Nanti detail demonya akan saya upload berikutnya. Tapi intinya nanti tulisan-tulisan yang ada di sana itu adalah tulisan dari anggota kelompoknya. Jadi tadi yang masuk dari tiga angka yang masuk dari atas, kiri, dan kanan itu nanti akan diganti dengan 3 digit NRP dari masing-masing anggota. 3 digit terakhir dari NIM atau nomor induk mahasiswa dari 3 anggota. Kemudian yang tulisan di bawah ini itu adalah NIM-nya dari anggota kelompok yang keempat. Terus tadi masuk, dia lakukan rotasi. Setelah itu gesernya silakan dipilih sendiri berdasarkan NRP yang paling kanan. Nanti detailnya akan saya upload. Nah, yang perlu dilakukan oleh mahasiswa adalah pertama bikin kelompok. Segera bikin kelompok, kumpul kelompok. Terus tuliskan di sebagai komentar di sini nama anggota kelompoknya, NIM-nya, namanya 4 orang atau 3 orang. Setelah itu nomor email kontaknya, salah satu anggota yang bisa saya kontak. Oke. Jadi menulis di komentarnya detail dari kelompoknya, yaitu NIM, kemudian nama nama anggota kelompok pertama, kemudian NIM dan nama anggota kelompok kedua, sampai anggota kelompok ketiga dan anggota kelompok keempat. Terakhir dikasih nomor alamat email yang bisa dikontak. Oke, sampai sini ada pertanyaan kah? Sementara itu bikin kelompok, terus ditonton tutorial yang saya beri, atau silahkan cari tutorial yang lain. Dan yang berikutnya menginstal Blender. Lebih bagusnya lagi sih Blender diinstal dulu, nonton tutorial sambil dijalankan sendiri. Jadi yang di tutorial itu gini, yang kalau menjalankan di real Blender yang terinstall itu seperti ini. Oke, karena ini tugas kelompok, silahkan ngobrol, silahkan bagi tugas, silahkan ketemu untuk koordinasi gimana caranya nanti ngerjakan tugasnya. Oke, silakan. Tadi ada yang mau bertanya? Ngerjakannya satu saja, jadi 4 orang itu satu kelompok ngerjakan satu video animasi saja. Ada pertanyaan? Ada pertanyaan?
Tidak, Bapak.
Tidak. Nah, itu terkait demo, detailnya akan saya susulkan berikutnya. Terus minggu depan materinya adalah kita mulai masuk ke pemrograman OpenGL. Jadi minggu depan tidak lagi membahas tentang Blender, tapi kalau ada pertanyaan silakan bertanya. Saya akan menjelaskan tentang instalasi program OpenGL. Jadi silakan besok minggu depan ya, ketika pertemuan seperti ini, siapkan laptopnya untuk menginstal program. Nanti saya menggunakan CodeBlocks, itu IDE, Integrated Development Environment, untuk mendevelop program C atau C++. Biasanya saya pakai itu, CodeBlocks. Jadi diinstal. Jadi per kelompok nanti jugaan. Jadi sekali kelompoknya ini terbentuk, demonya akan selalu dengan kelompok yang sama sampai dengan akhir semester. Nanti tugas demo programnya pun juga dengan kelompok yang sama. Jadi besok kalau mau pakai 2 laptop gitu ya, pakai dua komputer, satu komputer untuk mengikuti perkuliahan saya, satu komputer untuk menginstal kalau mau. Atau kalau mau juga semuanya menginstal bareng-bareng juga boleh. Setiap anggota kelompok menginstal sendiri di laptopnya masing-masing, silahkan. Intinya instalasi CodeBlock itu saya terangkan di minggu depan. Oke, ada pertanyaan terkait planning minggu depan. Jadi minggu depan sudah tidak lagi membahas tentang Blender, tapi sudah masuk ke persiapan pemrograman OpenGL. Jadi install, kemudian intinya membuat sistemnya berjalan, plus nanti ada program untuk yang bisa langsung dijalankan untuk OpenGL itu seperti apa. Ada pertanyaan sampai sini? Terus minggu depannya lagi demo. Demonya nanti saya belum pernah demo dengan model begini. Mahasiswa coba gabung dulu dengan Meet 2 minggu lagi ya. Gabung dulu dengan Meet. Nanti bisakah kita demo dengan Meet? Kalau tidak bisa nanti oper pindah ke Zoom. Kalau Zoom itu kan bisa dibagi ke grup. Nanti masing-masing kelompok masuk ke grupnya masing-masing. Nanti ketika demo saya masuki ke kelompoknya tersebut, demo, kemudian kalau selesai ya sudah bisa logout, terus saya pindah ke grup yang lain. Jadi per grup nanti ada. Kalau Google Meet ini saya belum tahu bisa semacam itu atau tidak. Saya perlu lihat dulu. Oke, itu tapi 2 minggu lagi. Minggu depan masih instalasi sistem untuk ngerunning OpenGL, untuk memprogram OpenGL. Oke, itu terkait planning ke depan, minggu-minggu depan. Ada pertanyaan? Ada pertanyaan? Ada pertanyaan? Kalau tidak ada, jangan lupa ya. Ada pertanyaan?
Izin bertanya, Bapak.
Ya, silakan.
Itu untuk instalasinya itu kita pelajaran bersama Bapak atau kita sebelumnya sudah menginstal?
Kalau yang Blender silahkan instalasi sendiri. Kalau yang Blender, setahu saya Blender tidak masalah, enggak rumit setahu saya. Kalau kesulitan pun juga tutorial Blender banyak, tutorial menginstal Blender. Tapi untuk instalasi yang OpenGL dengan saya akan tunjukkan proses instalasinya seperti apa. Oke.
Baik Pak, terima kasih.
Ada lagi pertanyaan? Ada lagi pertanyaan? Kalau tidak ada, segera yang bisa dilakukan mahasiswa adalah bikin kelompok dan segera nulis kelompoknya di kolom komentar postingan saya. Oke. Jadi demonya itu kira-kira seperti itu dari file movie yang saya posting itu kurang lebihnya akan seperti itu. Tidak akan beda jauh. Kurang lebihnya akan seperti itu. Jadi kalau mau dikerjakan dari sekarang persis dibikin seperti itu, nanti akan modifikasinya tidak akan banyak-banyak. Oke, itu. Terus satu lagi yang perlu perlu saya klarifikasi adalah ketua kelas. Tolong segera diputuskan ketua kelasnya siapa. Terus ditulis di salah satu postingan dari yang ada di Google Classroom. Terus masalah absensi, harusnya sekarang sudah ada absensi karena minggu kedua. Silakan dikoordinir ambil absen di ruang dosen, terus absen 2 kali karena ini sekarang sudah pertemuan kedua. Oke, ada pertanyaan sebelum saya akhiri? Ada pertanyaankah sebelum saya akhiri? Kalau tidak ada, saya akhiri sekian. Mahasiswa bisa log off dari Google Meet.